Hi, my name is Selena. Welcome back to my channel. I'm very, very sorry once again that the lighting is still creamy, warm, orangey, yellowish. I don't know. I'm sorry because I don't know where my ring light is and I need lights on in order for you to be able to see me and my books. So the lamps are what I have on. They will have to do for this video. I promise the next video will be normal. But for this video, I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated releases of 2022. So I have 18 books to talk about, and I've split them into like 9 and 9. 9 of these are anticipated sequels that are coming out in the year 2022, and the other 9 are either standalones or first books in a series that I'm super, super excited about. And you will definitely see that I kind of have a type of books that I've been really enjoying. And that are interesting me and wanting me to pick up, even if I haven't read too much of their genre thus far. But for whatever reason, I see patterns in here. So first, let's start with the sequels. 2 books that I read usually this year, but I think there's like one that I read in like 2019, or not 2019, 2020. So in the order of how they are coming out, the most early sequel that I am waiting for is Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston, and that is the sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. I love this book so much. It's a 5-star. I am so excited for the sequel of this series. I'm so excited. There's gonna be 3 books in this series, and I'm very, very excited that the next one is gonna be coming out so soon. The next one coming out on April 19th, 2022 is Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse. I just read Black Sun. I gave it like a 4.25 stars. It was a very good 4-star. I really liked Black Sun a lot. And so I'm really excited for the sequel, Fevered Star, which is coming out in April. So I will be reading that when it comes out. The next one is For the Throne. That is the sequel and I think final book in a duology by Hannah Witten. This is like the Wilderwood duology. The first book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling that I really, really liked. So I'm gonna be reading the sequel. I'm a little bit nervous about this one because although I liked For the Wolf so much, I don't necessarily like the characters this one's following. So I'm hoping this won't be another like A Curse of Dark and Lonely situation. But as long as our main characters from book 1 are in it, I will hopefully still enjoy the book. Then we get into some August sequels. The first one coming out on August 9th, 2022 is Fury Song by Rosaria Munda. That is the 3rd book in the Fireborn series. It's called the Aurelian Cycle, but Fury Song is coming out. I have not read Flamefall yet. I'm reading that this month, but I read Fireborn in November and loved it so much, so I can't imagine that I won't be anticipating Fury Song. Then coming out August 18th, 2022, we have The Oleander Sword, which is the sequel to The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri, one of my favorite fantasies of the year. I loved this book so much, and I'm very, very excited to read The Oleander Sword as well. On September 13th, we are getting The Dragon's Promise, which is the sequel to 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I really enjoyed this book. It was a 4.5 stars. I read it last month, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm really looking forward to the sequel. Then possibly my most anticipated, definitely my most anticipated release of the year that is like a sequel is going to be Silverborn by Jessica Townsend. This is the 4th book in the Nevermore series. I am so excited for Silverborn. I love this series so much. So Silverborn's, oh my gosh, it's my most anticipated release. October 13th cannot come soon enough. Then the next one, which is slated for October 25th, 2022, is The Atlas Paradox, which is the sequel to The Atlas 6, which is over here. And I am really excited for The Atlas Paradox. I liked The Atlas 6 a lot, so I'm just excited to see where this trilogy goes. And then finally, there's one book that I do not know the date for yet, and that is the 3rd book to Beartown, which I know the title, it's called The Winners, and I know that this book just came out in Sweden because Fredrik Backman is a Swedish author and his books get translated for me to read. So they are, not me specifically, but like English speakers. And it usually, from what I can see, looking at dates, it looks like the translation takes about 6 months to be released in the US. So I'm hoping we will get this in like April. I don't know, but I'm super excited. I've been waiting since 2020 for this sequel. And so as of now, for all these sequels, it is the one I've waited for the longest. And so it's definitely one of my most anticipated reads. Moving on to some books that are not sequels and are either first books in series or like just random standalones that I think sound amazing. These start coming out a lot earlier and they end a lot sooner. I think the last one that I'm anticipating comes out in August, and that's the latest like non-sequel release that I'm waiting on. As of now, I'm sure more will come out, and I might do an update of this at the middle of the year when more things are released for the second half of the year. But as of now, here's my most anticipated books for 2022 that are not sequels. So the first one of them is Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which comes out January 11th. Super soon. I'm super excited for this book. Look at this cover. It's gorgeous. It's mind-bogglingly gorgeous. And then look at the UK cover. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need them both in my life. They are so gorgeous. I hope this book is amazing. Early reviews are positive. They are wonderful. I'm super excited for this book. It looks gorgeous. I know it's like a retelling of a Chinese like folktale, and so I'm just super excited. Then on January 25th, we have The Blue Beautiful World coming out by Karen Lord. And let me see if I can look up what the synopsis is, because I know that Karen Lord writes cozy sci-fi, which is another one of my sections in this these new releases. Like, if you won't be able to tell, one of the sections, there's several Asian-inspired YA books that I am very excited to read coming out this year. The next section is cozy sci-fi, and this book, cozy sci-fi, and I know it's a post-apocalyptic Earth. Interesting. So it's a post-apocalyptic Earth devastated by climate change, and the global government project has begun to train a group of young diplomatic representatives in a simulation for first contact between Earth and extraterrestrials. When the simulation turns true and the concept becomes no longer a hypothetical but an impending reality, it will change life as they know it. So we have Kanoa, a representative from the Pacific, must ponder the manner of his father's death and whether there might also be non-human intelligence in the depths of Earth's oceans. That was a big one. So first contact story, post-apocalyptic Earth, extraterrestrial life in the oceans. Let's keep reading. Meanwhile, Owen, a rock star who once toured the world for his concerts, has a near superhuman ability to sway both crowds and individuals. Though global stardom has taken a toll on him, he has used his influence to invest in projects that prime him to be one of the foremost figures in this new world. As the idea of a new galactic civilization sets in, these two and many others must consider how they will navigate this new and strange existence and what it will mean for the future of Earth. Does that not sound amazing? I'm so excited for this book. I also want to read more Karen Lord next year. She's one of the authors that I want to read the most, I think. And that book is no exception. The second Asian-inspired fantasy, this is one's also specifically inspired by like a folktale, Korean folktale, I believe, is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. Look at this cover, y'all. Look at this cover. Look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? And then look at the UK cover too. YA covers these days, oh my gosh, they're killing it. I'm so excited for this one too. I know that this one is about a girl who is sacrificed, I believe, to a god under the sea, maybe. I'm not familiar with the folktale it's based off of, or the mythology, so I try not to re-look at the synopses too much unless I really don't know how to talk to you about it. Then we have the beginning of a category which I call like dark and creepy. Right? So we have March 1st, 2022, Gallant by V.E. Schwab comes out. That may be the UK date. I don't know whether they come out on different days. I think the UK does a lot of Thursday release dates, while the US does a lot of Tuesday ones. But Gallant is coming out this next year, and this is another thing I'm calling V.E. Schwab's last chance to impress me. Like, okay, I have had a rocky relationship with V.E. Schwab. I've DNF'd 2 of her books. I've read 3 of her books and thought they were mediocre. I have read 3 of her her 3 only middle grade books. The Cassidy Blake series, read every single one of those and adored them. So I have a mixed relationship with her. So pretty much I am either going to DNF Gallant, think it's a 3-star, or I'm going to absolutely adore it. It does say in the description that this is a book for all ages, so I'm hoping that she will be able to channel whatever she put into Cassidy Blake that made me love it so much, that into Gallant. And the reason I basically wanted to pick this up is because, first of all, the UK cover, look at this cover, gorgeous. Second of all, the fact that it's like it sounds a little bit like The Secret Garden. It's like a decrepit old house that has the door to another universe in it. V. Schwab has some of the best ideas, and most of the time, I think her execution is very much lacking. I'm hoping that this will not, and if it does, I will probably never fall prey to another V.E. Schwab beautiful cover ever again. Next! Oh, I'm so excited for this one. This one's also coming out on March 1st, and this is the third and final Asian-inspired YA, and that is 1,000 Steps into Night. I do not know who this is by or what it is about. I just know that it has like a Japanese influence to it. I don't think it's a specific folktale retelling, unlike the other Asian-inspired fantasies that I've been looking at. But I saw this talked about on Jessie May's anticipated releases video. I will link that down below. It pretty much is it looks like it's about a girl named Miyuko who is cursed and begins to transform into a demon with a deadly touch. And she embarks on a quest to reverse the curse and return to her normal life. She is aided by a thieving magpie spirit and continuously thwarted by a demon prince. And Miyuko must outfox tricksters, escape demon hunters, and negotiate with feral gods if she wants to make it home again. That sounds amazing. I want to read that so bad. So moving on to April 19th, 2022, this is the second cozy sci-fi of the bunch, and it is called Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. And so I loved Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Let me look up what this is about. I've seen this and I assumed it was like literary fiction, but no, it's like sci-fi. Like it is sci-fi, and that makes me happy because I didn't want to read a literary fiction from her. I like her speculative stuff. A novel of art, time, love, and plague that takes the reader from Vancouver Island in 1912 to a dark colony on the moon 500 years later, unfurling a story of humanity across centuries and space. So yeah, her books are a lot about humanity and people, so they do have a literary edge to them, but they are also speculative. So I don't know, a dark colony on the moon is really all I need to know. There are 3 different characters. One is a 18-year-old named Edwin St. Andrews, crosses the Atlantic by steamship, exiled from polite society, enters the forest, spellbound by the beauty of the Canadian wilderness, and suddenly hears the notes of a violin echoing in an airship terminal, an experience that shocks him to his core. Then 2 centuries later, we have a famous writer named Olive Llewellyn on a book tour. She's traveling all over Earth, but her home is the second moon colony, a place of white stone, spired towers, and artificial beauty. And then within the text of her best-selling pandemic novel, Station 11 was a pandemic novel, lies a strange passage. A man plays his violin for change in the echoing corridor of an airship terminal as the trees of the forest rise around him. Ooh. And then there's another man, I cannot pronounce his name, it is French, who is a detective in the black-skied night city, and he is hired to investigate an anomaly in the North American wilderness. He uncovers a series of lives upended. The exiled son of an earl driven to madness, a writer trapped far from home as a pandemic rages Earth, and a childhood friend from the night city who, like this character himself, has glimpsed the chance to do something extraordinary that will disrupt the timeline of the universe. Oh, wow, that sounds amazing. Oh my goodness. I am so excited for that now. Does that not sound amazing? And if any author can pull that story off, it is Emily St. John Mandel. I fully believe that. Next, April 26th, Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. I also don't know too much about this one, so let me look this up. I put this is more in the dark category, but honestly, is it really dark? Like, is it really? Let's see. So this is about a girl named Mara who she is the 3rd born daughter. She's a princess, And she's basically escaped a arranged marriage, but her sister wasn't so fortunate. And after years of silence, Mara is done watching her suffer at the hands of a powerful and abusive prince. So she seeks help for a rescue mission, and she is offered the tools she needs, but only if she can complete 3 seemingly impossible tasks: build a dog of bones, sew a cloak of nettles, and capture moonlight in a jar. Sounds very fairy tale-esque and fun. And then she is now joined by a disgraced ex-knight, a reluctant fairy godmother, an enigmatic grave witch, and her foul familiar. And yeah, they're all gonna go to save her sister and topple the throne. That sounds really fun and kind of sad and dark. So I'm going to put that in the dark category, even though I think it's probably the least dark. I'm very much anticipating Nettle and Bone. Then we have Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid, and I definitely know that this one is dark, because this is like a light, maybe not light, like a fairy tale-esque horror. It is a retelling of the Juniper Tree, which I have read before, and it is one of the Grimm's darkest and most like messed up fairy tales. And so Juniper and Thorn is a retelling of that, and I know it's about a girl who lives with her 2 sisters with their wizard father, and they're witches, but they are also trapped in like the attic and like sequestered from the whole world around them. And so they are kept, and at night they sneak out to enjoy the city's amenities and revel in its thrills, particularly the recently established ballet theater where Marlinkin, that's our character's name, meets a dancer who quickly captures her heart. And so she, I guess, is sneaking out to see this guy. Her father's awful. And there's also possibly a monster. I know that the author has said that this is much darker and more horrific than her first book, The Wolf and the Woodsman, which I will be reading in December. So I'm very much excited about Juniper and Thorn and to see how this author takes the Juniper Tree and makes it something else. Then we have the final book on this list, and that is coming out October 23rd, 2020, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This, all I know about it, I don't even want to get up the summary for it. All I know about it is that it's dark academia, it has fantasy elements, it takes place at Oxford, and it's like it's been described as a tonal response to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which I loved, and a thematic response to The Secret History, which I have not read, but I know it is about like classics, like it's very much like a commentary on privilege and the classics, like study in universities and like cult-like studies and things like that. So I know Babel has to do with language and power and colonialism and the university as a colonial power. So thematically, it's like responding to like the Secret History's like satirization, I guess. And I am so excited. That sounds amazing. And I really want to read that. I haven't read any other R.F. Kuang, but I hope to read The Poppy War next year as well. But I will definitely be reading her new release next year. So those were all my anticipated releases. Let me know if you share any newly anticipated releases with me, and let me know your other anticipated releases, because I could always use more to put on my radar. Thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you later. Bye.